Have you ever felt maybe a little lost trying to keep up with crypto? It's just exploded, hasn't it? But, well, it can also be pretty confusing sometimes. Okay, so let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty major happening right here in the US. It's new crypto legislation, specifically called the Genius Act. This, well, landmark bill. It was actually signed into law by President Trump just last week, around mid-July 2025. That's according to a recent BNN Bloomberg piece. So our mission, for you listening, is to explore what this really means, the immediate effects, the ripples it sends out. And we're drawing on insights from Andrew Forsen. He's the president of DeFi Technologies up in Toronto.
Right, and Forsen's take is pretty straightforward. He sees this act as providing, and I'm quoting him here, clarity, simplicity, and lets everybody understand what the rules of the playing field are, which is huge, really. Because think about it, before this, there was always this worry, right? If you're innovating in crypto, are you accidentally breaking some kind of securities law?
That gray area.
Exactly. A rule you didn't even know applied could just, boom, derail your whole business. So Forsen says this act actually encourages innovation without fear. It removes that specific regulatory risk, or at least clarifies it.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This isn't just an American thing, is it? Forsen points out that its impact goes way beyond U.S. crypto market.
Absolutely. He says the U.S. is, without a doubt, the largest capital market in the world.
So yeah, whenever they provide a degree of regulatory clarity, it makes it easier for everybody worldwide.
Wow. Okay, so U.S. rules kind of set a tone globally.
They often do. And that
Yeah.
clarity, it directly affects investors. We're seeing more demand now from people who wanted crypto exposure, maybe,
Yeah.
but were put off by the risk, the volatility, the lack of clear rule.
Right. They wanted a safer way in.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's where things like crypto-linked ETFs, exchange-traded funds, and ETPs, exchange-traded products, are becoming really important. They offer a regulated way to get that exposure. Okay, so let's sort of pull this together. The main takeaway seems to be that this Genius Act is a big step. It's seen as legitimizing crypto, setting clear rules, hopefully boosting innovation.
And making it safer for investors to get involved, yes.
That all sounds positive. But, thinking about it, does this kind of clarity maybe stifle some of the more decentralized innovation, the kind that maybe thrived without clear rules?
That's a fair point and something the industry will watch. But right now, the focus is on how this regulation enables more, let's say, compliant products. It
Right.
meets that investor demand for safer options. You look at a company like DeFi Technologies, Andrew Forsen's company, their subsidiary, Valour. They're described as one of Europe's most significant or prominent digital asset exchange-traded product ETP issuers.
Okay, so they're already doing this.
Exactly. They have, I think the number was 78 digital asset ETPs listed across 8 or so exchanges globally. That makes it a lot easier, as Forsen put it, for both institutions and regular retail investors to add digital assets to their portfolios safely.
And they're seeing success.
Apparently so. Valour recently hit US $1 billion in assets under management, so the demand is there.
Now, we have to acknowledge, though, there's still some hesitation around crypto, isn't there? Forsen himself brings this up. There's been a lot of fraud over the years.
Oh, absolutely. You can't ignore the history.
I mean, the big one everyone remembers is FTX, right?
Right.
That massive collapse in 2022. And the founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, found guilty of fraud, now serving, a 25-year sentence.
Yeah, that definitely left a mark, a huge shadow, like you said.
Yeah.
And that context is exactly why these regulations and companies operating within them, like DeFi, are so important now. Forsen argues they're positioned to provide real exposure to the digital asset space, beyond just Bitcoin, in a safe and regulated manner.
Trying to rebuild that trust.
Rebuild trust, provide regulated pathways, and move past that Wild West image. Forsen also touched on DeFi's financials briefly. Thinks the company's profitable, making real money, believes their shares are actually undervalued. He mentioned something about trading at a higher multiple and their corporate venture capital arm, too.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got this new clarity, this major piece of U.S. legislation potentially influencing things globally. It makes you think, doesn't it? So looking ahead, how might this shift really shape the future of digital assets? Not just the investments we see now, but the kind of innovations that get built in this, newly defined environment. And maybe for you listening, how does this change how you think about navigating this space going forward?